Hello, this is Cuckoo, and I don't have a beard, so let's call me Beardless Cuckoo. And I'm at the Bastl booth. It's Superbooth 2024, and I'm here with Václav, the legend himself.
Hello, this is Václav, and maybe I'll be interviewing Mr. Cuckoo now because my beard is a bit longer than his.
Yeah, you're the man now. we, it's kind of a tradition to go to you first. I think what you've been doing over the years and the whole growth that Bastl has done over the years is really tremendous, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, thank you. It's we actually had a 10-year anniversary last year. Last, what was it, October? And yeah, so that's kind of exciting. We also made a little display here in the glass box with like all the different things we've made over the years, the discontinued stuff, and also some rare stuff. Yeah, it's been a while. It's crazy. It's still I can't believe this is real. You know.
Yeah, I remember meeting you guys down at Frankfurt Musikmesse, I think. And from there, well, we talked about it several times. But yeah, now you're here making spectacular stuff.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I mean it's I don't know. I just think it's fun. I don't know. I like to do music. I like to do synths, and I like to design them. So they're fun, and that's kind of all I have to say. Really.
But that's like the perfect like angle to get into creativity and to create your own. Yeah, I mean, as you told me many times before, once you started selling stuff, you're like, oh, are we actually confident now? How do we handle this? It's just fun for us.
Yeah, I mean that's how it started, and I mean, of course, if you do something for that long, it's not always fun. But uh, when it comes to the design and like everything that then transfers to anybody else, we just try to have fun and make it fun to make music on, and just that you have a good time playing the stuff, because that's I think what matters in the end. It's not how many records you sell or streams you have. It's just about having fun.
And you're playing yourself, right? So you're using all this gear that you create.
Yeah. I kind of use a lot of different gear. Looking at your T-shirt, bunch of this too. The Digitone, the OPZ. These are my favorites. Yeah, but also this stuff, and yeah, I made an album last year. Did tour quite a bit, and so yeah, it's fun to do stuff.
Nice. And I think as many times the needs that you feel in your own live setup is also kind of fueling what kind of ideas you go down to create for us for Bastl.
Uh, yeah, I mean, it really is driven by what I would like to have, how I would like to interact with sounds, and I think what we're showing today, like new, it's a drum module. It's the Crust, pizza Crust, and it's a drum voice, and it's really kind of inspired by all the different synthesis tricks that I did over the years when making music on different groove boxes and on the computer. So there is a lot of these things from like a digitone that I would do, like a resonant high pass filter to boost the bass, and some extra envelopes to like accentuate the transients. So there is like a lot of these like tricks that I've gathered through like making music, and they're kind of like now packed into a drum module. So um, if I guess a lot of people, when you do drum synthesis, it's actually quite hard to make the drums sound good.
Yeah,
And
it's very. I feel like it's very delicate with the envelopes. If they just die too quickly, you don't want that, and sometimes you do want it, and yeah, you need to be very delicate, I think.
yeah, absolutely. And so the windows where it sounds good is kind of narrow,
Yeah.
and I think what we managed to do with the Crust is kind of like open this up and just like leave the fruitful playground for the drum sounds. But also then when you start to modulate, you get to like, you know, crazy territory. So it's like a lot more than just the drum, but it's really inspired by kind of like opening up the interesting parts of drum synthesis. And there is few tricks to it that we can. Should we jump right?
Yeah, let's hear it. This is my first time in front of it. I've seen the demo video, or not the. Yeah, it's like the launch video, and I felt like, yes, this is my kind of sound. I love what I hear.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a drum voice. So I just feed it a trigger, and then there is a sound out. I've got an octave. This is similar as on the pizza oscillator. You kind of don't get to detune it by accident. So you have the octave. You have some more like pitch, like pitch envelope and detuning. But to get to the actual tuning of the thing, you need to do a few extra steps. But that's on purpose, so you don't kind of get to untune it. So let's make some nice kick drum. So I think what's fun about this, because it's a drum module, there is a lot of focus on transients. And there is different ways how you can create transients and shape them. So the first one obviously is the pitch envelope, right? You can go crazy with that.
But I feel like already here we can hear there is a depth to it that sounds very percussive, even though it's very basic. I still feel like, yeah, this is a nice drum.
Yeah, I think let's reset it. This would be like the basic sound. There was a little bit of happening here too. So this would be just the simple like bass tone kick.
Yeah.
And there is this like clip fader that has a hard clipper on the transient.
That's it.
So you basically just accentuate if there is no. So this would be like just a simple transient shaping, and it is a bit of a soft clipping overdrive with the bass boost. So this is like the digitone trick when you like boost up the resonance on the high pass filter to boost the bass of your kick, and then it like sounds really good.
Yeah.
And it's really fun on the digitone to also crank up the volume so it kind of overdrives because it's a really nice clipper. So that's really inspired by that. Then there is this knob is like a shape control, which is like a FM type thing, and it has like two sides. So if I would do it on the fader here, go to shape. So you have a transient shaper, and then you have a body. So this is like a FM applied to the whole sound, and if it's on the transient, it's applied through an envelope.
Cool.
It's the transient, and then you can go to detune and detune the modulating oscillator. So
and then the other parameter stays where it was before you press the button.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there are like these two. There is this fader that has 3 options: filter for the noise section, we'll get to the clipper and the shape, and then there is this pitch section that has octave, sweep, which is the pitch envelope, and detune. And typically, like when you're performing and when you're making music, you don't need all 3 at once. But if you do, you can still assign the control knob to some of the ones you would want to be performing with. So I have the control knob assigned to the shape actually. So this does the same thing as the fader in the shape.
Can you assign it to several things?
You assign to one. So basically there is this like one knob that you can just do the stuff that you don't have direct access to, just to like kind of custom fit it to what you want to be doing.
Yeah.
So in this case I pick the shape, and then I leave the.
Wow, this is nice.
I leave the clipper on the fader. Yeah. I think this is nice. So.
how many of these parameters can you access through CV?
Well, so there is one CV for whatever you're doing with the fader, and then there is the layer, which is like a noise balance. I will get to that. There is volt per octave. There is one for the envelope, which can get like really short, which I like, or like very long. And to the left, it has a bit of a...
Oh wow, like a gate kind of thing?
Yeah, so it's like a lot of the controls here are macros. So that's kind of how we managed to pack it and like make it sound musical. So also if you like go into the clipper or like boost the overdrive, it kind of takes down the volume a little bit. So it always kind of is the usable level, so you don't need to go and readjust your volume. So there's been a lot of work that went into that. Yeah, and then with the control knob, basically you can control anything about the synth voice. So you can assign it to anything in case you need a CV for that. So yeah, but typically like 2-3 CVs is already enough.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah. So yeah. So let's look at the layer fader because
cool.
I'm really happy about. So there is 2 layers. There is the noise layer. It's a bit shorter. So on the noise layer I have the clap setting, and the noise layer has a filter. So there's low pass and high pass.
Nice.
Maybe I'm feeling the clap a bit like here. And then there is the tone layer that we've been on previously. And this is not just a crossfader, it's actually doing both crossfading and adjusting the decays of each side. So if I go up a little bit, you will start to hear like really short transient from the noise side. So that's like a fourth way to shape transient. And as I get in the middle, it kind of, so I have like a kick with a clap, and if I go a bit more here, let's make it a bit more higher pitch, the tone becomes the transient of the noise side. So, and then you end up with noise. So I think the magic is really like in betweens, really. Yeah, and then if you CV that, let's see, maybe with this one. Kind of becomes a drum kit in a way.
Yeah.
So this is like almost the main macro, but yeah. Let's feed some more CVs into it.
And now it's just some LFOs.
So this is a volt per octave CV that kind of sequences the tone and stuff. It becomes like really like live, really quick. Which one? Let's maybe one more. Yeah. So. Yeah. I don't know.
Wow, that sounds so nice.
Yeah, that's kind of like the thing, you just like start to modulate and just keep sounding good.
And this is with one trig and some modulation.
Yeah, exactly. So this is just like one module, and I think this is really fun. There's also like a velocity input here, which you can either use with another CV, and then if the moment you trigger it, it samples it and like holds it.
Oh, okay.
And actually you can use this sample and hold method on all the CVs. So you can either have it continuous or it can always sample with the incoming trigger.
Okay. So do you set it up?
So there is this like button combo. If I hold this button press this one, it's like a manual trigger.
Okay.
So it's a trigger, And if I would then plug in, if I holding the trigger and plug in the jack, then it like switches the mode.
Oh, cool.
Basically, so let's hear that. So you hear now it's like kind of like wobbly pitch.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was like very defined. So, and then if I hold trigger and plug it back in, it's again this like very defined.
Does that work on all the jacks?
Yes.
Wow, that's sick.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of like the cool thing about like an integrated drum voice, that you can actually do that stuff. So I mean, if you of course you can like synthesize drums with as many modules you want, but like doing things like this, that's kind of like what justifies having it in like an integrated voice, because then you can like do like the complex and musical stuff in the perfect ranges. Yeah.
And for me, like anyone who watches my videos, I think a lot of people know that I really like to work with minimal setups. And with modular, it's so easy to just grow and grow and grow, and then it's huge. But this inspires me to make like a really minimalistic, small setup. It's cool.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like where I'm heading also with myself and using modular. I want to have like a groove box, maybe that samples the modular, and then just have like a small modular so I can do the stuff you cannot do on the groove box in a way, because I love using groove boxes, but I also love the flexibility of of what this provides. But then yeah, I think it's fun to combine those two, and we eventually want to release a full system that would just be made for that, like to be like a sidekick to a groove box, but like that kind of like supercharges what you're doing, but still in, let's say, the size of a groove box.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of like where my thinking about modular is going, because like the groove boxes, honestly, they're like way too good.
Yeah, they're super good. And I think for me personally, the sequencer in like this like the digitact or digatone, the sequencer is so it's crucial to the whole how it interfaces with the gear and the music. And I think that in the modular space it's something different, just different. So
yeah, exactly. And I love the sequencing on the electron boxes, but then also there is like this actually is also new, this modulation source we've been using, the Neo Trinity, and it's like very like gestural type of CV source. So there is a bunch of knob recorders and stuff. Let's maybe use this CV. So it's the channel B. Let's clear it. So I basically now control this knob with this knob, right?
Yeah.
And then I can just like hold record and then it repeats it.
Oh, nice.
So it's like this is like very like grooveboxy workflow.
Yeah, I love that. How many layers of recorded things? Is it just one?
So there is 6 channels.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
And they can all have like individual recorded flows.
Yeah, exactly. And and each channel can be either CV, which is like the knob recorder, or you can have an LFO and like do this modulation on the LFO speed. So like it's like automated LFO, or you can have an envelope and automate the envelope.
And can all of this automation be triggered, like restarted by a trig?
Yeah. So there are like bunch of inputs that are also assignable. It's actually really deep, but I'm using it on a very surface level. And let's take the trig signal, which actually is the envelope mode, and plug it into the velocity input. And if you're not using the trigger and only use the velocity, it basically takes the external envelope and kind of replaces the internal envelope with that. So
how do you choose which track you're recording to?
So you have like A, B, C, D, E, F. That's
cool.
The jacks here, and you just select the track, and then now I'm on the envelope track, and I can just like record the automation to the envelope. And then it's gonna keep repeating. So this is really like 2 CVs and the pitch one, right? But there is like so much going on with just like very small amount of CV. So again, this is like the optimization type thing for the small setup that has been done for this. Yeah. So yeah, I have another voice here with the Crust to show a bit more the melodic side. Let's plug this up. Yeah, that's funny. Caribbean vibes. Yeah, I don't know. That's fun. Let's plug in some more CVs. And you know, that's the fun I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So it's yeah.
We're just vibing at this point.
Let's bring in some delay.
Oh, that's so nice.
That's the basil, that's the last use delay.
Oh, so nice. This is like a mini version of the Thyme, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. Which, talking of which, here we go. So it's the Thyme Rebirth. So this is the Thyme, but we re-released it just now, and we call it Thyme Plus. It's got a new enclosure, new panel.
I think it's really nice, the new line of enclosures you're making now. It's so sturdy.
Yeah, it took a while to figure it out, but now I'm really happy with how it feels. And also the knobs are like much sturdier, and everything, the buttons, everything about the Thyme just like is really good now. And now actually everything's going through it. So if we I actually was just hitting a randomizer like this morning and just like made a bunch of like complex things with the randomizers because they're just good. Actually, that's one of the like software stuff that we fine-tuned from the original, was that the randomizers are like very musical. So there is like so much. There's like really nice. I like this one.
Whoa.
So there is like a complex sort of like tape delay situation with like multi-tap and stuff, but every parameter has its own modulation, and it can be either LFO or envelope follower. It can modulate it in stereo. So there is just like so much you can do, and very often it just makes sounds you wouldn't expect the delay to do. I mean, of course, it can do like classic delay stuff, you know. It can just like go and do classic like delay stuff.
Yeah, but it's so fun with all those robots. Do you still call them robots?
Yes, yeah. So let me just hit the randomizer a few times, because if you hold shift and a robot, and then there is these 3 buttons have 3 different like randomizers. Yeah. Woo! Whoa! Yeah, the stereo is crazy. I hope people are listening with headphones. How did that happen? I don't know. How do you do that with the delay?
That's the thing with randomization. It's sometimes you just hear something as, wow. If you were to come up with this yourself, it'll take a long time.
Yeah, totally. I mean, bunch of startups would call it AI powered. I call it randomizer because it makes me feel a bit more in charge. Yeah.
But is it actually some sort of AI? Is it listening? Is it making choices?
No, not really. No, it's just making random numbers, but in usable ranges.
Okay.
So I mean, it's fine-tuned by humans for musical purposes.
But it's not listening to the inputs.
No, 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 no.
Cool. We're still in charge.
Yeah, we're still in charge. Yeah. So
Human power.
yeah, and I don't know. It's like I was actually testing it with this like boutique 808 clone, and it sounds like really basic as an 808, but then you just like run it through something like this and start sounding like really modern. It kind of like gives it this like extra like fidelity that I don't know, I just like really like.
So just a reminder, I mean, this sounds like a $1 million Eurorack system, and now we started counting everything that is in charge. It's like the Neo Trinity, we got a Crust, another Crust, and the Thyme. And that's it, right, for this?
Yeah, that's all that is. Actually, this pizza is not even connected, and this mixer is just basically used to make it work with the speaker system here, but you wouldn't even need to do that. It's really 1, 2, 3, 4 modules and a Thyme.
Oh yeah, the delay, yeah, I forgot, yeah, the bass.
Yeah, so
Cool. And when it comes to this point, and you're starting to feel like, wow, now it's happening, as you're developing this, and you reach this point, like, yes, we've done something now. Let's go play. I don't want to work anymore. I just want to go play.
Yeah, it's hard to get work done when it's so much fun. It's kind of hard. Yeah. But I mean, like right now, I have like a really good developer team at Bastl, and I'm kind of more in the sort of supervisor, creative director role. So like I make prototypes, make bunch of drawings, write manual, and then like they help me implement it. And I think this also gives a bit of a separation between like the work I would put in if I would be coding it. I would be kind of like fixated on the work I've already done on the thing, but now I can like more freely do creative decisions, like to kind of like pursue more of a certain type of aesthetic. And I think that's been like really important in the past few years, to be like more focused on the aesthetic side, because I think it makes the instruments sound like they were made now in a way. And so it's I don't know, I think like Electron also has a lot of that, or like Teenage Engineering. Like when you hear the instruments just as they come out of the box, they just sound good. And like it's a type of like aesthetic that you want to be like, that's already a certain type of like genre you're almost creating.
Yeah.
Of course you can bend it indefinitely, but I think it's important to be connected to that somehow, at least for the way I make stuff. Actually, I love like all the like very like engineering, like niche Eurorack stuff that like taps into the like weirdest modulating through like many zeros oscillating.
Yeah.
And that's fun. That's really great. But like what I've been interested more recently is like to take something like that and like narrow it down to like a musical and usable interface and instrument, really.
Yeah, I think from my first impression here is like, yes, you've absolutely nailed it, and it sounds so much fun. It sounds so much fun, so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna head into a modular now. This is the tipping point for me. No, I really love what I hear and your approach and everything. And one thing I want to just mention for everyone not knowing that, but you might see at the bottom of many of the modules says Bastl Pizza, and it's because you're running the same hardware internally and just releasing new plates and totally new firmwares, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
and that also saves a lot of work, and you can focus more on the creative side of developing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't necessarily like try to like sell it as like a platform to people, because a lot of these like platform type products, like the firmwares for them are like not that good. It's almost like the platform is an excuse to like not polish the firmware enough.
Yeah.
But like what we're interested in is to like really deliver like really solid thing that is musical and like very usable. And yes, they share the same hardware, and it really helps because if you're making a new hardware, the development cycle might be like 2 or 3 years. If you have the same hardware, it can get down to I don't know 6 months or something.
Yeah, that's really substantial.
Yeah, like, and actually we do a lot of beta testing. We work with a lot of musicians in the process. So like, if you're getting this, it has been in the hands of like tens of musicians that have been like giving feedback and like helped to fine tune it to this point. So I guess that's how we do it now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. And another benefit of that is that users that have one of them can try the firmware.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the Crust firmware is not online yet because we're still in the last phase of beta testing. But yeah, we'll be shipping in early June, and it's gonna be ready.
Sick. Do you have a price for all of this?
Yeah, I think all the pizzas are something like 320-ish euros with tax, depending on where you live, how much the tax is.
Yeah.
And the Thyme is a little below 600 euros with tax. It's not much more expensive than the original Thyme. It's maybe like 20 or 30 euros more. But yeah, I think the build quality and the connectivity, everything about it is just, I don't know. It feels really good next to everything else I have in the studio. It feels like it's part of like the high-end category now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you nailed it. I'm liking it. So, is there anything else you want to add to this? I think everyone watching there, you should know that Bastl is the really a good guy's company.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I guess. What should I add? I don't know. We're still working on a bunch of stuff. I I don't know. There is always like a lot of positivity at a show like this, but I think all companies like know internally that like the last year has been like on record the lowest sales year for like everybody I have talked to.
Yeah.
So there is a bit of crisis economic, so people are not spending that much like money on synths. We somehow are surviving. It's like not always easy to.
But I think from what I've seen before, you're making modular stuff, but your company is also sort of modular. Is it still like that, like community and?
I mean, so since you were in Brno to see us, I think we really became a lot more professional.
Yeah.
In all aspects of like what we're doing. We also get to outsource some more stuff because there is people who can do it better than us. So we've been doing a lot more decisions that are in favor of like sustaining it as a long-term thing. Because as I mentioned, like typically the dev cycle for a product is 3 years, but sometimes it's 5 or more. And you somehow like need ideas to mature. Like this is Time Plus, it's not even version 2. And like the original was released like 6 years ago. And to get it to this state, it takes years. And we're really focusing in this like long-term vision because like if we are like all professional and like skilled people and we have time to let the ideas kind of mature and then I think we can really bring like the innovation and at a good level, and that kind of what makes me excited also for the stuff that is like coming in the next months, which I can't talk about sadly, but I'm like super hyped about everything we're developing now because it really somehow carries the marks of us doing it for over a decade. Yeah.
Sick. I'm glad to hear it, and I'm really glad to see you're still around. And every company, every creator, or every human facing like struggles and crises, you you just need to find a new way to overcome all the obstacles or to adapt. So I think the way you're adapting is, yeah, I believe in you guys.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. Like we as humans, we also go through crisis, and probably every crisis makes you a bit stronger, but also I don't know, maybe a bit more vulnerable in some other ways.
Yeah, and at the same time, I think through when learning from all of these crises, maybe you learn how to treasure the joy even more. So, like when you actually get something done that hits that nerve that you were looking for, it becomes even more important for you.
Yes, yes, exactly. Because like I've spent most of my life doing this, you know, and like this is what I do, and it somehow needs to bring me joy at the end of the day, and it totally does. And I think you can also feel it in the when you play the instruments. Maybe some people don't care or don't look for it, but also when I walk around, like I'm most drawn to the like stuff where I like really like feel the people behind it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you, and best of luck, and looking forward to seeing the release of the Crust when it's finally out. I think, yeah, if people catch on, they should. You should. It's gonna inspire a lot of people. It inspired me.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. It's and thank you people for supporting people like us, because I think we together like do the ecosystem that like, you know, I'm sure most of people watching are also like in it for the fun. So
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Best of luck.
thank you.